Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin, and today, of course, we're in black and white because it is the July 2025 hashtag bingo of shame. This is a collaboration hosted by Dubs Beauty Diary and Makeup and the Mundane, where a group of us every month have a palette announced to us that we should do a palette bingo with, where like random number generators pick what shades we use and we have to make a look with it. The reason it's bingo of shame and not just a regular palette bingo is because the selection of the palettes came from all of us doing the collab. Each of us said, this is a palette that's in my pile of shame, meaning I bought it and I've never used it, or I've used it like once or twice, or I've like totally neglected it for a long time. So eventually we'll get to the palette that I chose. I'll let you guys know when it's the palette I chose in my palette pile of shame. But in the meantime, I'm still participating on the other months with everybody else's choices. Some months, if I have the palette, I'll use the palette, but we're also encouraged, if we don't have the palette in someone else's pile of shame, to still participate and try to dupe the vibes of our palette, just to try to help us use what we have. That's the whole point of this, right? Is to use that palette that's in your pile of shame, use those shades to dupe, even if you missed out on the limited edition release. See what you have that you can get the vibes and make the most of your collection. So that is what today's video is. If you haven't already, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. I upload videos twice a week. It's totally free to subscribe, and I would love to have you back again on the channel for all things makeup. I do a lot of indie content, but I also do use drugstore and prestige brands, so there's a bit of everything for everyone here. We're gonna go ahead and get into color and into the random number generator. I've got my base going. I've got a gray top on here because who knows what color combination we're gonna get. I do not have the Colourpop Misunderstood Palette, the palette of this month. So just like last month, I'm gonna be duping it with shades in my collection. Luckily, looking at the screenshot, the swatches that were provided to me in the group that is doing this collab, they look like pretty basic shades. So, which I think is part of why I pass this up, to be honest, but that doesn't mean I don't have the basic shades other places in my collection. So I'll leave the image up here just so you can see the reference photo of what I'm duping. All right, so we've got shades 1 through 15. Our first shade is shade 5, Easy. Great. Okay, it's just this like, I don't know why I'm showing this. You don't need to see it. It's already up here for you. We are doing this peachy matte. That should be pretty easy to find in my collection. I feel like I have a million shades like that. Number 15, that is a matte black. So that's actually two great shades because I could use that as a transition shade and as an outer corner shade. I won't be mad if the look is kind of boring or tame today, honestly, because I do have to work today. We've got summer camp going on for my high school show choir where I teach. So, you know, some color's fine, but I wouldn't be mad if it wasn't too crazy to see people. Number 4 is another matte. Oh my goodness, 3 mattes, you guys. So this one looks like it is a warm brown, not very dark at all, but definitely more brown and darker than the peachy number 5. Are we gonna get any shimmers here in our 5 shades? Shade 2, okay, finally a shimmer shade. So this is just like a really taupe neutral shimmer. It's gonna be very neutral so far, for sure, but I definitely have things that look like that. And for our last shade, shade 6. Okay, this might be our most like colorful shade here. This is more of a like copper looking brown shimmer. Great. Okay, so it's gonna be kind of neutral. Let me go to my collection, find these shades, get them together. I'll let you know like what I end up pulling from my collection to kind of dupe this, and then we'll do the look. All right, guys, I zoomed you in a little closer here so you could see what I'm doing. I think I found shades that will be not exact. It's hard to do like exact dupes, but definitely the vibes of between 2 palettes here. So I am gonna start with the matte peach shade in the crease, and I went with the Blend Bunny Machina. This one's not available, so if you have it, you know how great it is. I haven't pulled out one in a while, so I'm going to use Error Code, which is this peachy matte right here. I dare say that this is probably better quality than what the Colourpop Misunderstood would be anyway. That's no shade to Colourpop. I like Colourpop, but Blend Bunny mattes are just supreme. If you know, you know. Sorry, Colourpop. There's no hard feelings. They know what they're doing when it comes to a matte, and it's supreme. This tone might be a little pinker of an undertone. I think the one in the Colourpop palette is a little more neutral, but I don't know if you will really be able to tell the difference by the time we add all of the other shades, if I'm being honest. And then the other palette I'm going to pull from is the Glamlight Ice Cream palette. I don't know if they have this one either, but the sprinkles I feel like were innovative in their time, and the packaging, love it so much. I kind of hated on this palette when I first got it, just because I do feel like some of the pastels are wimpy in this one when it comes to pigmentation. But the shimmers and some of the pastel shades I've had a good time with. So I'm going to pull Peanut Butter right here, this one. That is going to be my shade number... Sorry, my phone locked. My shade number 4, which is the slightly deeper shade. Still not really deep by any means, but deeper. And I'm going to put that on the outer corner of each eye. And it will, even though it's not going to be like a really deep look, it could be with the matte black, but I'm going to honestly just end up using that as shadow liner, if I'm being honest, because like I said, I don't mind if this is a lighter, tame look, because I'm going to be dancing and singing and doing choreography for camp today, so light is good when you're doing sweaty things, for sure. But this will still give us a little bit of dimension and depth and warmth that we wouldn't have otherwise had with just that like peachier matte. Also gonna get a little depth from the shimmers. So for number 6, I'm gonna use right above that pecan, how do you say it? I say it pecan, personally. I'm gonna use this Pecan Praline shade right here. If you see my nails grown out, no you don't. Girls had a busy time. Came back from vacation at 5 p.m. the day before camp started. No time, no sleep, bus, another bus, plane, vibes very much so this week. So it'll be taken care of by next video, but it just is what it is right now. So I'm going to place this darker, bronzy, warm copper shimmer on the outside of the look, somewhat overlapping the Peanut Butter shade. And this is going to be a nice shimmer to transition from the matte on the outer corner to the other shimmer on the inner part that I'm going to place, which, you know, only 2 shades left, and I already told you I was using the matte black as a shadow liner, so nothing too revolutionary, but I still hope you are enjoying this video just to see, again, how you can use your collection, things that maybe, like some of mine, aren't even for sale anymore, but are still very good quality makeup items that you probably spent good money on and should be using and enjoying. Just because it's not the newest thing doesn't mean it's not. I mean, that's pretty. It's not like the most wet, metallic, crazy looking shimmer, but that's partially why I chose this one to dupe, because Colourpop shimmers aren't usually that way either. So I feel like this Glamlight palette is quality wise pretty close to what Colourpop would be. Okay, and then for number 2, the last shimmer here, I'm gonna go in with Salted Caramel. It is this, just like I said, lighter, neutral leaning taupey shade. And we're gonna put that on the inner part of the eye where we did not put the Pecan Praline, and meet them up in the middle. Okay, so we've got this nice neutral looking vibe going here. The only thing we have left is the black matte, I guess, right? I feel like this definitely could be spiced up a little more if I maybe pulled more shades, but I guess that also shows the versatility of the palette I'm duping. You know, you could go more colorful in that palette, but you could also keep it more neutral. So I'm going to use Shut Down. We're back to the Blend Bunny Machina and Shut Down this black shade. I'm just going to take a bit here. Not much at all because, again, it is Blend Bunny and they know how to make pigmented mattes for sure. And I'm just going to kind of smoke that shade out along the lower lash line here. Not the lower lash line, the upper lash line. I don't know why I said that, you guys. I rarely put, you know this if you watch my channel, I rarely put stuff on the lower lash line. I have a lot of folds. It's not even necessarily wrinkles, like I've just always had a lot of folds under the eyes. So I tend to not put much down there, like including like I'm not wearing concealer today. I don't most days unless there's like a lot to conceal, but I feel like y'all might read me in the comments. I feel like it's not bad. Like I don't have terrible dark circles naturally, thankfully. So it's not a big concern for me. If I do wear concealer, it's more to have that like brightening effect. Not to cover darkness, but just to get like a little bit of facial dimension. But I'm not too worried about that on like a daily basis, so if I'm being honest. And I don't put a lot of shadows down there because they just tend to fall into the folds and creases. Now I have had somebody tell me that I should try, if I want to wear a shadow down there, putting the same eyelid primer I put on my lid under my eye to help it stay. And I have not tried that suggestion, so maybe I'll do that. If anybody else has a lot of creases, folds, whatever under there, do you wear eyeshadow on the bottom? And if so, how do you make it not like crease down there? This is not part of the palette bingo. I'm adding a 6th shade on my own accord. I'm gonna add, what am I gonna add? Oh, it's so hard to pull out this palette and not add Cyborg. I think I'll be good and keep it neutral. I'm gonna add Switch, this kind of silver looking shade, just because I feel like we need a little something on the inner corner. Maybe that's cheating, so sue me. You can come get me, the palette bingo, palette of shame. Gods can come and tell me I'm doing it wrong. But until then, there it is, a little pop on the inner corner. Let me go put on mascara and find some kind of a lip that's gonna go with this. Shouldn't be too hard with how neutral it came out. And I'll be back to show you the final look. Alright guys, here is the finished look. I just went ahead and, like I said, added mascara and a bit of a metallic red lip, partially because I thought red always kind of like brings out a look a little bit more when it's neutral. But this one's a bit of a muted red, which I really like about it. And it's metallic. And if I'm being honest, it's almost gone. And I'm trying to finish the product up so that it's done. But it goes well with this look. What do we think? It's pretty everyday, but that's okay. It could have been worse. It could have been crazy. Like I said, I was hoping for something a little more tame, being that it's a work day, so I got my wish. I got my wish. This is your reminder to use what you have, use what's in your collection. Join us if you want to next month. There's a bunch of us doing this collab. It's really fun. Thanks so much if you made it all the way to the end of the video, and I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye!